energy.
What is...
Like, we should rip people apart from their families.
Are you a man?
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. How do you feel about ripping people from their families? Does that feel good?
Fucking house here. Sir, I need to move. Fucking house. KKK. What's wrong with you people?
Why are you calling a woman a man? I mean, what kind of a guy does that?
Squeeze my fucking neighbor.
Go look for your fucking slave.
You know, we've reached peak crazy in the city of Minneapolis when you have a left-wing activist, and by the way, I actually had to censor it out from the intro of this video, getting up in the face of ICE agents and noticing that those ICE agents that are supposed to be evil white racists and white supremacists are actually Hispanic and, of course, in this case, a black person, and they decided that they're going to call this person, again, a bunch of white progressives made this decision, a house N-word. Now, I will point out for everybody out there in the audience that if there's even a hint, a whiff of a black person being called an N-word in any context, in any other situation, that many of these left-wing progressives will defend that black person's right to beat the crap out of, nearly murder, and sometimes actually murder the utterer of that slur, but without hesitation, these people do it, and the reason that they did it, or at least what appears to be the reason, is because this ICE agent identified one of these people as an actual man that is pretending to be a woman. So in their mind, trans outranks black, and obviously if you're an ICE agent, that makes you an evil white racist. Maybe they're fans of Crystal Ball, who can't even fathom the idea that minorities would work for a policing agency, because minorities all have a single mind, in her opinion.
Like, not only do you have no moral compass, and how many times have you seen these guys? They've got their masks on, so you can't see their whole face. But what you can see, it's like a brown skin tone and a dude who looks like his last name is probably like Lopez or Hernandez or something. It's like, what is wrong with you? Not only do you not have morality, apparently you don't have self-preservation. I mean, these people hate you. They hate you. They hate your family. They hate your kids. They hate your future grandkids. They don't think you belong here. You're not a quote unquote heritage American. You're never going to belong. And you're the one implementing the violent force against your own community. I just can't wrap my head around that.
And yeah, this is just one example of the absurdities that federal agents have to deal with in the city of Minneapolis. And by the way, local police as well. And by the way, random everyday citizens that these people have determined look enough like ICE as well, because they're just going absolutely crazy. And one of the ways that they're also doing this is by erecting barriers all over the city of Minneapolis to run their own checkpoints to fight against the influx of these Nazi ICE agents who are demanding papers and running their own checkpoints. Wait a minute. Now look, we're gonna break this down. We're gonna get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay.
New tonight, Minneapolis police are stepping in after a community created their own method of public safety against ICE. Uba Ali joins us live in Minneapolis with more on that. Uba?
Well, Frank, they say this is all in the name of public safety, a grassroots response to immigration enforcement. They say is hurting their communities.
So first of all, I just want to say to all the ICE agents and Border Patrol agents that are in and around the Minneapolis area, if you're looking for a Somali to deport, I happen to have just found one on the local news. Her name is Uba Ali. Go and pick her up. She's right near all those white people doing the protests. And although I'm just kidding about deporting her specifically, I do want to point out that this is actually the closest a Somali has ever gotten to one of these ICE protests. These people are not actually involved. It is overwhelmingly white progressives that are in on this terror, doing these checkpoints and all this goofy nonsense. And by the way, these are also the people that are the sacrifices being primed by the Democratic Party in order to die, again, on behalf of their Somali brethren. It is very telling, in my opinion, that even though they're allegedly the target of this whole situation, they're not represented at all whatsoever power in the protest movement against ICE. And this is likely due to the fact that they're too busy running fraudulent daycare centers. It takes a lot of Somalis to watch those kids that aren't there. And in addition to that, a lot of Somalis are actually just American citizens. I think it's like 90%. So this really isn't an issue that actually impacts them.
At this roundabout at 34th and 17th, flames burn as people stand guard.
We are literally creating a place that we know who's coming and going in and out of our neighborhoods.
So what did I say? Almost all of the people that are involved in this nonsense happen to be white people. They also happen to be disproportionately white women. And the irony is just getting more irony-y when you have this woman saying, look, what we're doing right here is making sure our community actually has these checkpoints so we could determine who exactly is coming into said community. Because in reality, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. You can't actually have a community if everybody just floods in there without actually knowing who they are. We need to have these checkpoints. We need to have these barriers. We need to build a wall, so to speak, in order to keep these people out. And that way we can do this vetting process, again, to make sure only the right kind of people are coming in. Because what you guys might not realize is that although all people happen to be people, they don't typically share the same values as the people within the community. And thus, we need to set up this checkpoint in order to keep the undesirables out. Again, the irony of these people going out and chanting those stupid chants about how, oh, we don't need any border walls or anything like that. Borders are imaginary lines on paper, while they erect their own borders as a solution to what they see as invaders coming into their community. Absurd, ridiculous, and totally lost on these stupid people.
In the middle of the road at 32nd and Cedar Avenue, a makeshift roadblock turned this intersection into a roundabout. Cars slowed as drivers noticed, some honked, others asked questions, and one man brought food for the people standing watch.
Now look, to be 100% clear, if you are stopped at a makeshift checkpoint, you know, like we're in the Mad Max universe or something of the sort, and a mob of people surround you in order to attack you, you are perfectly within your rights to defend yourself. I recommend trying to get out of that situation as quickly as possible, and definitely 100% I do not recommend getting out of the car, because as we've seen time and time again, these left-wingers not only get violent extraordinarily quickly, but they also do so without consequence because, of course, Minneapolis, Minnesota, they all bend over backwards in order to protect the rioters, in order to protect the disruptors, the people who want to destroy civilization, because, again, they are in line with them. This always happens when you have Republicans in power. In this case, it's President Trump. In the previous case, during the Black Lives Matter riots, it was President Trump. And in those instances, no rules apply for left-wing activists. And by the way, even when they contradict themselves by putting up these checkpoints, obviously this is just allowed to be because, oh my God, what are we going to do? Actually enforce regular, ordinary laws? We need the checkpoints. We need the paper checks, because if we don't have that sort of thing, guess what? We could be in a situation where ICE or Border Patrol might check people's paper. What if they set up checkpoints? That would be absolutely horrible.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much. How did it make you feel just seeing a community checkpoint in your neighborhood?
Well, you know, it felt fine. I don't have any trouble with folks helping out.
Wade Haynes has been standing at this corner twice a day for one reason: to stand up against ICE activity and keep his community safe.
So it's also important for you guys to point out something that is common amongst all of these activists, and that is the fact that they appear to not have any jobs. They appear to never have anywhere to be except for at these particular locations. And as we found out with the people who raided the church in that whole Don Lemon fiasco, part of the reason why some of these people don't have any jobs or appear to not have any jobs is because they're getting money from the taxpayer or from these nonprofits that often get money from the taxpayer in order to be professional activists. This guy shows up 2 times a day in order to monitor the activity at this checkpoint, which, by the way, is just them putting up garbage in the middle of the road and checking people's license plates and whatnot. And they're able to do this because they just don't have anywhere to be. They can conduct endless interviews. They can block stuff off like this. And this is one of the reasons why there aren't larger conservative protest movements, because typically you don't have George Soros or the taxpayer funneling money to your crap organizations in order for you you to get away with this kind of stuff. Now look, eventually the Minneapolis police ended up clearing this roadblock. They ended up getting rid of this checkpoint because obviously this ends up creating a lot of problems. Now, of course, we've heard instances of ambulances and fire trucks being stuck in certain locations due to the actions of these protesters who, by the way, are protesting off of people who are not American citizens, who are illegally in the United States of America, because they obviously matter more. They're the God tier citizens.
He chose this corner. Others chose this intersection.
It's kind of inspiring. It's like, wow, okay. We've got folks out there who are kind of taking care of us, looking out for us. That's good.
But Minneapolis police stepped in, clearing the roadblock and restoring flow of traffic.
And again, I will also point out that despite the fact that all of these people are out here to defend the Somalis, there appear to be no Somalis here at all whatsoever. Apparently, they're better at learning their lesson than these regular ordinary white people. But in addition to that, I will also point out that despite the fact that the Minneapolis police are clearing up these obstructions, there are no arrests made. And if you live in a major metropolitan area, especially one run by Democrats, you know that fines and fees for improperly storing your garbage are very commonplace, and yet these people are allowed to throw their garbage in the middle of the street. They get it cleared up at the taxpayer expense. There are no arrests, so there's nothing really to stop them from doing it again.
Honestly, I'm kind of sad about it.
Still, residents say the roadblock was necessary.
And the reason I highlight that specifically is because this is a story from like 18 hours ago where they took down this barrier, but we had stories from 3 weeks ago where they were putting up and again had those barriers taken down, only for them to reemerge because there's no consequences for these actions.
We need to keep our neighbors safe, so we will be doing this again.
And look, they admit what I just told you. Because there's no consequences, because there's no punishment, this woman is very boldly going on television and saying, you know what? We're going to do this very thing again. We're going to make it happen. The barriers are going back up, despite the fact that already you've had the police clear them out multiple different times. And again, these people are on television. The organizers, the actors, the bad actors in this particular case are visible. You could see their faces. Their names are displayed on the local news media. And yet the Minneapolis police not making the arrests, not doing what is necessary to stop them because, spoiler alert, they're in favor of this disruption. They want the chaos because they want to point to the evil bad orange man and say he's responsible for the chaos. But obviously this is nonsense. Obviously this shouldn't be allowed. But unfortunately the obvious is often overlooked whenever the Democrats are acting out. So I guess they just have to deal with it if you're a regular ordinary person in and around this neighborhood. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about left-wing activists setting up checkpoints all over Minneapolis. Till next time.